take my time. And we're going to talk about it. And we're going to do what we need to do. Okay. So first things first here. Okay, here's the board. Got my phone here so I can see what I'm recording also. And here's my repair. This is the Sovol SV03. Okay. So what had happened was the power and ground wire for the heated bed had bent back and forth a whole bunch of times right past the strain relief, which caused the wires to break. And when the wires broke, they overheated. They actually caught on fire and they burned up the plastic convoluted tubing that was over this wire from the factory. Okay, so I went to a couple of things here. And so, you know, the SV03, it's a pretty good sized bed. And I tried to find a silicone 110 AC heating pad. So this is what I came up with. There's a silicone 110 AC heating pad. And yes, it actually has a thermistor in it, okay? It's AC, so then you need this. You need a solid state relay, okay, to control it since it's AC powered. So what I didn't like about it is, I don't know where to set that. I didn't like the fact that this heating pad, you know, is only going to heat the center of the bed. And then you're going to have to rely on the insulation to keep the heat into the edges of the bed. And the original heating element that is on this Sovol here, this is a Creality board, by the way. When you peel all of the insulation off, it definitely says Creality on it, 24 volt. It's a Creality bed. So I don't know. I'm not that familiar. I had an Ender 3, but I'm not that familiar with the newer Creality printers. So I don't know if the 5 had a bed this big or exactly which Creality printer had this size bed, but that's exactly what this is. It's a Creality board. And I will tell you that the heating element on this board, it goes past the attached bolts and springs. It goes, in some cases, it goes nearly all the way out to the edge, okay? And I guess I just wasn't quite ready to sacrifice that and give that heating pad size up. And I just couldn't find a heating pad big enough. Now, keep in mind, you can't cut these pads because the wires run all the way through them, and you don't know where the wires run through them. So it ain't like you could get this pad that went all the way to the edges, because then you can't drill holes through a silicone heating element or heating pad. So I guess, I mean, even if I had gone just slightly bigger, you know, it wasn't going to work because I still wasn't going to heat the outside of the bed. So I don't know quite what to think about the silicone pads. So what is this one? 235. Yeah, this is 235 millimeters square. And I have the solid state relay, and it's got the thermistor in there. So then my next thought is someday maybe this would work for the SV01 or whatever. I still have my Ender 3, which is just a parts machine right now. This is 24 volts. I ohmed it out, and it ohms out at 1.9 ohms with my fluke, which is close enough to the 2 ohms that it's supposed to have. So I'm confident that I don't have any broken wires or any problems with the heating element that's already on here. And to be honest with you, if I ever do have a problem with it, it's, you know, the $60 or whatever to replace the whole unit is just going to be a heck of a lot easier than messing around with trying to find a new heating element that's big enough and get it on here. And yeah, so I need to go ahead and put this on. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put the screws in it. I'll put the springs on probably one at a time. Let's see. Then, I don't know where I want my wires. I think I'm going to stick it on this way. I think I'm going to put it on like this with the wires coming out the left side. Okay, I think previously they were coming out over here on the right-hand side. I don't know. No, they weren't. They couldn't have been, because they came straight out the back just like they do right now. All right, so we're going to start sticking this on here. Like I said, I cut out the insulation to leave room for the springs and everything. I just put a bunch of silicone on the wires on the bed to hold it. Okay. All right, so there you go. Okay, I need to find the wheels. These damn wheels are so far under there. They're freaking impossible to see. One thing I have found that I like to do is, once I get these all started, can't see shit. Plus I have a camera in my way and a tripod, right? Not everybody has that when they're working on their 3D printer. So go ahead and run these wheels all the way tight. And the reason I say to do that, I've seen some people say, oh, they just run it halfway. But here's a little piece of advice. Something I have found that works really well for me. I go ahead and just run them all the way tight. Okay, that's going to pull the bed all the way down as far away from the print head as it'll go. Now, granted, I don't even have the the arms or the axis on here, X-axis at all, right? And actually, before I put it on, I'm going to go ahead and put the magnetic base on for my new PEI sheet. We'll talk about that a little bit too if you want. Hopefully my big winter tummy is not getting in the video. Tell you what, it sucks sometimes living here where I live, where we have 9 months of winter. No shit, we have 9 months of winter. It will snow it starts snowing in September and it freaking quits snowing in May. It's not unusual to have a huge ass snowstorm the first week of May, or even to the middle of May. And we've had snow in June before, where we've had snow one day and 100 degrees the next day. So yeah, you think South Dakota is the shit, man. It's a good place to live. Well, it's a good place in some respects, but you better freaking like winter if you're going to live here, because you're going to get a shit ton of it. Keep wiping off this table. Okay, those are on and they are tight. So I'm switching all of my printers over to PEI sheet. And I wish I had done it a long time ago, because damn if that isn't really the answer to a lot of my printing struggles in the past. Okay, so recently I got a PEI sheet. I had some Duramic sheets that were sent to me as a promo, and not free. They came with something that I bought. I can't remember what, but anyhow, they threw in those PEI sheets, and I never really. I hate to tell you this. I threw them in a box of stuff, and I never even bothered to try to use them. What happened, and I don't know what happened, but all of a sudden nothing would stick to the build plate on the Sovol SV03. I mean, nothing would stick to it. Got some tape or adhesive on this table here. Sorry, I'm a little obsessive compulsive, and I don't know why, but right now I have to like kind of rub that off of there, I guess, a little bit. Nothing would stick to that SV03, and I mean nothing. So one day, kind of at my wit's end, I pulled out I had a Duramic sheet of PEI, and then I had one made by somebody else too. I can't think of who made the other one. I could probably look at it and tell you, because some of their logos are still on there. Alcohol, let that dry for a minute. So anyhow, then I read a little bit about PEI, and because then I'm like, okay, what the hell do I do with this stuff now? And it said, it basically said you got to get it hot, like 80 degrees. Some people were going 80, 82, up to 85 C with it, and they were getting that shit hot, and just enough to make the first layer stick. Okay, and after the first layer stuck to it, then they were like, then you can cool it down and do, you can cool it way down. And because some of the problems that I was having was that my PLA, especially wings, where you're printing like vase mode or one layer walls, the build plate was too hot. So I had to print at like 60 C up to, 65, 70 degrees C to make it stick. And the wing sections were actually warping at the bottom, and they were like folding. They were so screwed up. And so I was just like, oh shit, And so anyhow, so I put the PEI on there, and then I was able to drop the temperature down. I still printed the first layer hotter. Printed the first layer at like, for PLA at like 70. I mean, that shit melted on there good, And then after that, I cooled the build plate off, let the print finish at like 45 or 50, somewhere in there. And so that took care of my warping issue. I never had warping problems with it again, which was awesome. So that, that took care of that problem. And try to figure out, I need to cut through this magnetic base. And I need to cut out for my screw holes here. I have some round hole punches that you just take a hammer and you put it on a hard flat surface, and I can punch out circles. I'm back. There's my holes, chopped holes in it. Okay. That way. And then I'm going to start on the back. I'm going to peel this back. Like there. I don't know. And I really want to get my holes lined up and my lines lined up. Before I stick things down too well. Okay, looks pretty good. I don't think I did the greatest job of punching the holes out perfectly. I think it could come. I think it could stand. Could come forward just a little bit more, but I guess I ain't gonna worry about it. Okay. Kind of squeegee some of the air out of that. Right. Okay, I can kind of see these. If I came forward too much more, I would cover up that screw. So that's going to be perfect right there. Okay, we're going to pull off a little more paper and squeegee that thing down on there again. A little bit more. Okay. Okay. Don't have any big bubbles in it. It's looking really good. You know what I need to do? I need to check my rollers, don't I? Just noticed that. I think I was kind of noticing it earlier. Okay. I don't think it matters whether the rollers are on top or on the bottom, right? Need to wipe them off. And we need a 10 millimeter. Oh yeah, so anyhow, 3D lab print. So I bought this P47 from them basically when they were brand new. They were just a freaking baby. And I bought one of the first P47s that they ever made. And this is it behind me on the floor here. And I never finished it. Which way do you turn concentrics? I always turn them in the direction that you would turn something to tighten it. So that's loose. And that's where the play comes out of it. As long as you always turn them in the same direction, I guess it doesn't matter. Okay, then the concentric on this one is only in the middle. That's the only place you've got a concentric. Okay, and then these are round. They don't have any concentric. So that's actually all I can do. There you go. 1, 2, 3 of them are adjustable. Okay, now when you pick these things up like this, make sure your fingers are out of the way because that bed's going to come flying backwards. And He'll pinch the crap out of you if you're not careful.
I mean, that is really the biggest metro lake. Just not mentioning that. Well, we get up to County Road C here. Thank you, Maxie. It's off now. Sorry about that. Well, we're
Fingerprints.
down for the weather. We're doing some slow weather patrol.
Definitely got fingerprints.
So we're on Registry here. We're in the middle of
Okay.
Little Canada.
That is on.
What the intention of the shooter is at first blush.
Right. But there's no denying that the result could be a dead person inside one of those houses.
Very, very scary situation. And by the way, one of the reasons we're talking about the lakes, this neighborhood that this occurred in is one of the most beautiful neighborhoods around in Ramsey County.
And it's a very quiet area.
All right.
And it's right, actually the suspect lives on the lake. You know, so he himself lives on the lake and the neighbors across the street from the lake. But we want you to think about this because think of the heroism of these officers. First Roseville and then members of the Ramsey County Sheriff's Office rushed into the scene. And the Ramsey County SWAT team. So again, this was in the jurisdiction of Roseville. The city of Roseville has their own police department. Chief Erica Scheider, you might have seen her on the news.
Okay, I think that's it.
Get assigned to go in, but this is a very, very complicated scene. On our right here is the lake. And you're gonna see some beautiful. So the officers respond to the shots fired. They come on the scene, you can imagine there's really no great place to hide.
This is pretty wide open.
I'm going to stop this for now.
10 minutes.
Okay, we are starting over. Okay, so sorry I chopped out a little bit of the middle there. Here's the finished product with the Sovol SV03. Earlier in the video, you know, we looked at the heated bed and some of the problems that I had with it. The PEI sheet that we put on to help things stick to the bed. And this wing section is done and it's stuck on there. So let's pull it off real quick. This is my favorite tool right here, the flat-bladed X-Acto. And this is not a brim. This is a skirt. And you know, this skirt trick was something that I have been printing for 3 years now, and I don't know why. Just something that somebody showed me recently, or recommended that I try it. And anyhow, I was pretty blown away by the fact that I never thought of that before. So what you can actually do is print a skirt that just almost touches your printed part. And so this skirt actually is supposed to print, I think it was set at 0.0 0.15 or 0.2 millimeters away from the printed part. Well, if you look at it, it is actually stuck to the printed part. That is true. However, I don't know if you can hear that. It's popping loose. So that skirt comes off easier than a brim. Every time I try to do a brim, I have a horrible time getting it off. So there you go. So that popped off. You can see some support structure in the middle there. Okay. You know, and because it's just a skirt, I mean, it doesn't actually touch the part everywhere. It just goes around there, so it's kind of hard to see. The Mevo doesn't have a screen on it, so I kind of have to. So, you know, it's not a perfect solution, but it's really not too bad. I think this is set at 1.5 millimeters. Okay, so it's a little bit like a brim. Because there'll be, I got that support material right here on the edge. That's going to come off with it, but so anyhow, this skirt material, I mean, it comes off. In my opinion, it's easier than a brim. So anyhow, okay. So I'd have a little bit of cleanup to do with a knife there. All right, actually I think she's hauling groceries in, so let's go ahead and do a little bit more. Okay, so you saw that stuck really well to this PEI. Now this is just PLA. And I actually use hairspray as a release agent on there too. Okay, so first of all, I use the remote micro SD card holder. That's way easier. It puts very little stress on the main board that way. This box is from Thingiverse, and I actually broke the grate out of the front of it trying to remove the supports that printed in between those grills. Okay, so there's the box. It was supposed to have a fan on the inside, and actually this box isn't secured. Well, yeah, it's going to be hard to move it. So I'm going to bring you around this way. Okay, so I think you can see the fan. I put an external fan on the back. That was just going to be easier. Okay, here's the back of the box. And you can see I just have the cables tied. Okay, the big loop is on the back of the bed. And it doesn't bend at all near the bed. It moves back and forth, but the cable doesn't flex. Okay, this little box is the MOSFET for the heated bed. Of course, we got the off and on switch. Okay, and then I have the power supply mounted to the wall, and I just have not, there's a cover, a safety cover that goes over the terminals, just like this one here. And I have not printed that yet. Okay, so we got the power supply, the off and on switch with the AC power going into that. Now that box is mine. That's on Thingiverse. You can print it yourself. Same with this box. That's mine. That's on Thingiverse. You can print it. Okay. Otherwise, this uses the original hot end connections, the big ribbon cable, which I still like very much. Okay, and all the cables go into the back of the power box here. And I will print a grate for the front and just glue it on there. Looks funny without it. It's supposed to look like this one here. Okay, so you can see the difference. I broke it trying to clean out the support material. Okay, so I guess that's it. Here's a quick question for you. This Acreate PLA, do you like it? I really don't know. At $10 a roll, it's really cheap, but I've had some really hard struggles printing with it. Here's my bed and my PLA temps, just as a reminder to me. So I start out at 80, and then after the first layer, it goes down to 60. And I'm printing the PLA at 200. So that piece that I had just printed, that's exactly the temps. This one here. All right, well, I'll show you. Here's another wing section. I think I can get it in the camera okay. So there's a servo mounted in it. So that's 2 wing sections for the airplane that I'm printing. Stop by the artillery sidewinder here. It just got done printing another wing section. It's got a servo hole in it, and a hole for running wiring. And here again, it's printed with a skirt and not a brim. So I just run that skirt right up to the right up close to the surface of the part, and it makes a difference. I mean, it sticks just very, very lightly to the edge of my printed part. So this has got PEI. This is that yellow PEI sheet you see on Amazon. Okay, that's what's on the artillery sidewinder, and this one I have to cool the PLA down a little bit more. We start out at 80 and we drop down to 40, and then it's the same brand, Acreate red PLA here, and we're printing that at 200. So that's actually, you know, these parts are coming out really strong, really good, really solid, really stuck to the bed. Okay. All right, so that being said, just do a little shot here of the Sovol SV03, and we'll end the video there, I guess. It's working good. It's ready to, that was the first piece that I've printed since I rebuilt it, and it's ready to go to work. All right, well, as always, I appreciate you joining me, and if you have any questions or if there's anything else that I can help you with, we print constantly, 24 hours a day. It seems like I have a printer running, so I've done about everything wrong that you can do and had every kind of problem that you can have, I think. So we're happy to share our knowledge and information, so please don't hesitate to contact us if you need some help with something. You know, we're glad to help. All right, thank you. Thanks for joining us, and have a great day. Don't be stuck in your basement 3D printing all the time. Take some time this summer to get outside, have some fun, get some fresh air, ride your bike, go fishing, go camping, go boating, and anyhow, do all that and let your 3D printer fend for itself for a while. So summer's coming, we got to enjoy it. So hammer out your problems now so that you can let the printers work while you enjoy your summer. So, okay, anyhow. So as always, have a great day, and we'll see you again soon.